So how did you, because I know, of course, you qualified in Tunisia, didn't you?
Yeah. Hmm.
Because I want to ask you about, and I mentioned this before we started the interview, when we looked at your application, what I loved, and I'd love to see how this fits into how
Yeah.
you got in that boat for the first time to qualify at Tunisia. It's like, oh, this is amazing, this is happening. When you said, and I love this, you've realised that your weaknesses are also your strengths.
Hmm.
And I will talk about your secrets about success more for the vault, but I really want to know, can you talk us through that from, from realizing, again, leaving the corporate to go into that boat
Yeah.
for the first
Yeah.
time, to then that.
Yeah. So when I joined Evesham Rowing Club, which is where I started rowing, I had no plans of making it this far. Basically, I did it because it was a passion. It was something that I really enjoyed, and it gave me that extra freedom that I never experienced before, and the peacefulness of just being out on the water, and it's just incredible. It's basically is amazing for anybody to do. So when I was out there and doing that, it was fun. It was great. And then I had my first regatta, my first competition. So that was when I got hooked on it. So it was at Oxford City Regatta, maybe about uh, 4 months or so after I started rowing. So that's where I I realized I was very competitive um, in the sports world. So prior to that, it was always been, education and computer programming. So this is the first time I was using physical body to
Yeah.
compete for something, and that was basically my drug. I wanted to get better and better and better, and stepped up my training. So where before I went maybe just on Saturdays, then I went Wednesdays, I went Saturdays, I went Sundays, and it kept stepping up and stepping up. So I went from Evesham Rowing Club to another rowing club, Stratford upon Avon, because that was closer to where I lived. But at Stratford, they had no adaptive rowers, so people with disability. They had no coaches, no boats or anything. But they actually just welcomed me. I said, "What do you need? We'll get everything that you need for you." Um, I, I moved with my coach from Evesham, and they sorted everything else out for us. So I started rowing at Stratford and stepped up, because then I didn't have 40-minute drive anymore. So I just had about 10-minute or so drive. And again, I stepped up the training, carried on with the competitions. One day I got an email from British Rowing asking if I would represent England in home internationals, so against Wales, Scotland, and Ireland. So that was in Scotland, the competition. So I said, of course I would. I'll do that, because at this point I'm getting that buzz for competing. I've been competing in local regattas around the country, and I went and I won gold in that. So that was the first
Wow.
time I kind of competed in that kind of big scene.
So the first time you do your proper, you
Yeah,
get gold.
yeah, yeah.
I think you might have a knack
Yeah.
for this, Kingsley.
But-
I think you might take this all the way.